This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ephraim Graham. We begin 2019 with one of the biggest events in 2020 already taking center stage. Before the ball dropped for the big New Year's celebration in New York's Times Square, Senator Elizabeth Warren dropped some big news outside her Massachusetts home. She announced Monday she's launching a presidential exploratory committee. Warren explained why she wants to be president.
I never thought I would run for anything ever in my life. But America's middle class is getting hollowed out, and opportunity for too many of our young people is shrinking. So I'm in this fight all the way. Right now, Washington works great for the wealthy and the well-connected. It's just not working for anyone else.
And Gary Lane is following this story. He joins us now with more. So, Gary, why do you think she decided to use the last day of 2018 to make this announcement?
Well, she wanted to be the first one out of the gate, and being the first one out of the gate, you gain recognition, you get a lot of press. Also, you have a little bit of momentum, but the main thing is you can't raise money until you're an announced candidate. People will not donate to you, and it's a long stretch. We've got 13 months, Ephraim, until the Iowa caucuses, but it takes that long just to sustain a campaign, to raise enough money to sustain a campaign.
Yeah, indeed, it is long. Any reaction from the president about this announcement?
Well, what you'd expect. I mean, he said he welcomed her entry into the presidential contest. He also said he wishes her well because he'd love to run against her. One of the main reasons for that is because the woman he calls Pocahontas recently had a DNA test to show that, well, she wasn't quite as much of an Indian heritage as she originally claimed to be. And the president said that didn't work out too well for her. So I'm sure that'll be a campaign issue.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. The Democrats are now, of course, expected to follow Elizabeth's lead. Who is likely to take on the president or try to in this race?
Well, you've heard Kamala Harris will likely. She's from California. Also New Jersey's Cory Booker. Among them also, we don't know, maybe Joe Biden. He would be a more mainstream candidate for the Democrats. But the one to look out for, I think, Ephraim, is Beto O'Rourke. Because even though he lost narrowly the Senate election to Ted Cruz in a red state, Texas, he still did very well, and he raised a lot of money. He got a lot of attention and notoriety, and I think that helps if you really intend to run for president. He's very charismatic, younger, youthful. He'd probably be their best bet against Donald Trump.
You certainly got a more recognizable name these days as well.
Certainly.
What chance do you think Warren has of getting the Democratic nomination?
I think it's an uphill battle for her because she really isn't a mainstream candidate. She's pretty much from the liberal wing of the party. And if the party is going to succeed, many Democrats say they need a more moderate candidate. Beto O'Rourke is very charismatic, youthful. He might be their winning ticket.
So here we are, the first day of 2019.
Yes.
Do you think we're going to see an even earlier than expected process now?
I know people are just going, wow, we just got through the November midterm election. But listen, Hillary Clinton raised, with her PACs, over $1 billion for her losing race against Donald Trump. Now, it's going to take probably that much for any candidate to be close to contesting Donald Trump this time around and winning that Democratic nomination, Ephraim.
So strap in. We've got a
lot of money, so
ride.
It's a long haul to raise that money. It takes a lot of time.
Indeed, it does. Gary, thank you so much for following this story for us today. Here now is a quick look at some other big stories we're following for you in the CBN newsroom today. President Donald Trump says he's ready to negotiate to end the government shutdown, but not without border security. In an interview with Fox News, the president said he has no choice but continue the government shutdown until lawmakers are ready to negotiate his border wall funding. This comes one day after outgoing Chief of Staff John Kelly said in an interview that funding for a concrete wall along the entire border was already off the table. The president responded to that claim Monday, tweeting, "The wall was never abandoned. The federal government has been in a partial shutdown since December 22nd. Pro-lifers are calling a recent ruling regarding abortion drugs in Kansas infuriating. A judge ruled Monday the state cannot stop telemedicine abortions, where doctors provide pregnancy-ending pills to women they see via a remote video conference. Mary Culp, executive director of Kansas for Life, said in a statement, this judge has a long history of taking laws designed by the legislature to protect unborn babies and women and turning them into laws that instead protect the abortion industry. This was the third attempt by Kansas legislators to outlaw telemedicine abortions. 17 other states have banned that practice. A man shouting about Allah stabbed 3 people at a train station in Manchester, England last night. A woman and 2 men, one of them a police officer, were taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The attacker was arrested and counterterrorism officers are investigating. So far, they say there is nothing to suggest a wider terrorist threat. A new president takes power in Brazil today, and he's promising to do whatever it takes to make a dent in the out-of-control crime the country has suffered for years. Chuck Holton visited Rio de Janeiro and patrolled with an elite team of Brazilian special operations officers who are taking the lead in taking down the drug gangs.
Rival drug gangs battling for territory across Brazil have driven its murder rate to more than 60,000 per year. In the poorest communities, called favelas, a young man there is more likely to die by gunfire than a soldier in an active war zone. This young mother of 2 asked that we not reveal her name.
Our main problem is all the violence. Sometimes I can't even take my kids to school or even my baby to the hospital if he's sick. When we're at the house and the shooting starts outside, I'm already teaching my children to lie down on the floor and not move. Stray bullets are very common here.
Fed up with the violence, in October 2018, the Brazilian people elected a new president, Jair Bolsonaro, a former army captain who promised to take a tough stance on crime. Taking office in January 2019, Bolsonaro is committed to stepping up enforcement in the worst neighborhoods, even sending troops into the favelas to take on the gangs. One of the most elite and well-armed police units is known as BOPE.
The mission of BOPE is to act in situations where the local police cannot. For example, hostage situations, combating drug dealers, and protecting the population through specialized operations. Despite being a military force, we are actually part of the police, and we use specialized equipment and weapons.
This favela that they're training in today is one that they've already cleared, so we know that it's safe. But you can see the tactical way that they learn to move, and that's because you don't really know who the bad guys are until they're shooting at you. And as you can see, there are women and children in here, and they have to go right by all these civilians, and the level of training that it takes to keep from shooting people that don't need to be shot is really high.
Our first priority is to always protect the lives of the citizens. We must be very aggressive, however, because the sheer amount of violence in the areas where we operate. Victory for us is going into battle against these gangs who often bring superior numbers, and winning without losing any of our men.
But for the people living in these favelas, victory might simply look like making it home safely one more day. From Rio de Janeiro, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
The United States and Israel officially quit the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Agency, or UNESCO, at the stroke of midnight. It is the culmination of a process triggered more than a year ago amid concerns the organization fosters anti-Israel bias. It is a big blow to the agency, co-founded by the U.S. after World War II to foster peace. Coming up, the key to controlling your health in a way that could actually prevent sickness and disease. We've got that story for you coming up when CBN NewsWatch continues right after this.
Parents, the Superbook Bible app is a great way to get your child reading the Bible, because in today's busy world, we can use some help. The free Superbook Bible app has fun stuff your kids will love. They'll have a blast learning the Bible, playing great games, watching cool videos, discovering heroes in the Bible. They'll have fun while they learn God's Word. The Superbook Kids Bible app, available now.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
We had 4 jobs that didn't go right, but, we didn't waver in our faith.
That's when God put on my heart that we needed to do the well.
Within a couple of days, we got an insurance refund check that we had no idea was coming.
And here we are, this year, it's just boom.
You go out and help other people, and you get rewarded for it.
Get Pat Robertson's latest teaching, Miraculous Blessings.
We continue our series, Build a Better Gut, with a look at the bacteria in your intestines. It's one of the most powerful weapons you have in fighting disease. Our medical reporter, Lori Johnson, shows us that many diseases can be traced to what's in your gut and how you can reduce the risk now of getting sick.
Shocking as it may sound, when a person becomes sick and dies, too often doctors find the trouble started in the intestines because of a disruption in bacteria. Over the last decade, scientists in labs like this have been researching the impact of the gut microbiome on all types of diseases. What they've discovered is the good and bad bacteria in our bodies has a much more profound impact than previously thought. Dr. Jay Bajaj leads a research team at Virginia Commonwealth University. He says bacteria living in our intestines dramatically influences each aspect of our health, literally from head to toe.
Their potential is still being unraveled to the point that even 10 years is too little for us to even scratch the surface of the amount of complexity and the potential that we have, both for good and for harm, in the gut microbes.
Harms such as liver disease, one of the leading causes of death and disability.
It goes from the spectrum of hepatitis, obesity-induced liver disease, alcohol, all the way to end stage with cancer as well as cirrhosis.
Dr. Bajaj says too much bad bacteria causes inflammation.
Inflamed liver doesn't do its job very well, the gut gets more inflamed, and this unfortunately leads to this cycle where patients find themselves into liver disease without knowing it.
And it's not just that problem that can sneak up on someone.
There are a number of diseases that have been linked to aberrations in the gut microbiome.
Johns Hopkins gastroenterologist Dr. Gerard Mullen, author of The Gut Balance Revolution, says folks need to know intestinal problems can lead to cancer and other life-threatening issues.
What's most alarming is that there are people out there who have rheumatoid arthritis, some kind of autoimmune disease, and a cardiovascular disease that may have a gut condition that is silent and is the cause.
He says while we may seem okay when we're younger, it eventually catches up to us.
When we reach our 50s, 60s on up, then all of a sudden it becomes more sensitive to the environment and less stable. So in particular, the elderly are more susceptible to variations in the environment that may disturb the microbiome.
The Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Gail Kreshe says the gut also profoundly affects thoughts and feelings, all thanks to the gut-brain axis, a well-traveled pathway between the mind and this crucial part of the body.
Gut bacteria secrete different byproducts, and some of the things that they secrete are neurotransmitters that leave the intestinal tract and signal to the brain, and these are things like serotonin and dopamine, and we know those then become into the bloodstream and can get into the brain and help affect mood, and so a lot of anxiety disorders, depression are related with alterations in gut microbiota.
Also Parkinson's, autism, Alzheimer's, and multiple sclerosis. An unhealthy gut can even keep drugs from doing their jobs.
So if you're taking an oral medication, that's being processed by your gut microbiome. And if you think about how some people are responders to medication and some people aren't, it could be because they have alterations in their gut microbiome than the other person doesn't.
This is the Mayo Clinic's anaerobic chamber, where scientists grow and study bacteria that die when exposed to oxygen. Believe it or not, we have a lot of anaerobic bacteria in our bodies because a good portion of our intestines are oxygen-free. Researchers here say the right kind of bacteria means the lining of our intestines contains tiny, helpful holes that allow microscopic nutrients into our bodies. Too much bad bacteria, however, causes those holes to grow.
Which means it allows more things to pass through, things which are not desirable. And yes, I mean, there's a lot of diseases, right? It's like celiac disease or inflammatory bowel disease, where the gut lining is not as robust.
Dr. Mark Hyman agrees, adding that when large particles leak out, the immune system sees them as invaders and attacks them.
Well, we've had a lot of insults to our gut, and that leads to disturbances in our own gut microbiome that creates breakdown in our gut lining, that creates a leaky gut, that creates inflammation that's linked to almost all diseases.
In his book, Food, Dr. Hyman outlines how to repair a leaky gut.
We need to understand how to restore the gut with probiotics and fiber and prebiotics. It's a massive public health problem, and I think it's led to a lot of other issues.
Still ahead, it is our Studio 5 #1 story of 2018 and one of the biggest box office hits of the year. Stick around for our interviews with the stars next.
When you give, smiles grow bigger. When you care, homes are happier. When you comfort, the hurt goes away. When we all come together to love, miracles happen.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphan's Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
And welcome back. We have made it to the final story in our Studio 5 countdown for 2018, and coming in at #1 is Black Panther. Get this, it saw more than $1.3 billion with a B, dollars at the box office. We talked with several of the stars back in February. Take a look.
Shuri! Brother! Turn on the train on the bottom track.
The stabilizers won't deactivate your suit. You won't have protection.
Neither will he.
Okay.
This film is special on so many levels. Do you feel that going in?
Yes. No, I knew just in the novelty of it, you know, the fact that it is the first Black superhero movie on this platform. You know, I knew that there was something there, and I think once that's without anything having been created. I also knew that once Ryan came on and he had that mindset, that same mindset, and he also had new things that he wanted to bring into the world that would justify his ideas were amazing.
I knew something was going to be special about this movie. I knew, first of all, it's subject matter of like bringing an African superhero to life, but I think really importantly, the fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film. I knew that from his vision of the world that something special was going to happen.
And I knew it was going to be special also, just showing up on the set and seeing the amazing, group that had been, brought together from across the diaspora, across the world, in front and behind the camera. That just felt incredibly unique. Just artists who were working at the highest caliber and of their talent and their abilities and potential. So it had all the potential in the world to do what we expected it will do, and that's break all box office and bust down all stereotypes and ideas of what you think, or whatever it is you have always that's been thought.
I was initially excited to share the Black Panther character with my son, so he's excited about seeing it. But having seen your performance and the women's performance, I'm actually now more excited to share the film with my 10-year-old daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
What do you think of just the power of women in this film, from yourself to...
It's astounding, the way that women and the feminine is portrayed in this movie, a movie that's entitled Black Panther. So we expect the brother to show up and show up, but the women who are there to support him, to lead him, to advise him, to counsel him, that he listens to, that he needs he needs that input, It's amazing. And my daughter, like yours, is young, between 12 years old, and she was just to see, we can look at our children, we see when they're, a little shy or a little intimidated or something, but that evening to see her rise up and feel something glorious and strong and powerful within her being, it was evident, and it was beautiful, and that's what you want to see. That's what you long to see. That's what is available in your children's lives.
It's now or never.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Right there.
Are there any women heroes in your life that you modeled Nakia after?
That's a really good question. I have an aunt. Her name is Subira, and her spirit reminded me of Nakia. Yeah, she's a very quiet, very deliberate woman. And that's, I think, what Nakia is. So Nakia has a power that she wields, but she wields it in secret most of the time because she's an undercover spy. And I think that's my Auntie Subira.
Daniel, last year we were talking about your performance in Get Out.
You got your toothbrush?
Check.
Do you have your deodorant?
Check.
Do you have your cozy clothes?
Got that.
What?
Do they know I'm black?
Should they?
You might wanna,
Mom and Dad, my black boyfriend will be coming up this weekend.
And now we sit talking about you being a part of one of the most anticipated films of a long time. Are you living an acting dream at this point?
Allegedly. I feel like, I kind of feel like it just feels like stuff I have to do, and I just, man, I'm blessed, man. Like that's just real. Like, to be doing this job is a blessed situation. To be doing this job with the people I'm doing it is a blessed situation. To be doing this job on stuff that I believe in, and for it to be being given a big platform, because some films get buried. It's to do with the timing more than me. So I I'm just the vessel for that. I'm just kind of keeping forward.
Now, that look back is a fitting tribute to Black Panther's creator, Stan Lee. He would have turned 96 December 28th, but died November 12th of 2018. Remember, for all your entertainment news in 2019, be sure to join me for a new edition of Studio 5 each Wednesday night at 9:30, right here on the CBN News Channel. Still ahead, the story of some inspirational second graders and how they lived out their love and support for a classmate battling cancer.
Parents, the Superbook Bible app is a great way to get your child reading the Bible because in today's busy world, we can use some help. The free Superbook Bible app has fun stuff your kids will love. They'll have a blast learning the Bible, playing great games, watching cool videos, discovering heroes in the Bible. They'll have fun while they learn God's Word. The Superbook Kids Bible app, available now.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
We had 4 jobs that didn't go right, but we didn't waver in our faith.
That's when God put on my heart that we needed to do the well.
Within a couple of days, we got an insurance refund check that we had no idea was coming.
And here we are, this year, it's just boom.
You go out and help other people and you get rewarded for it.
Get Pat Robertson's latest teaching, Miraculous Blessings.
A group of second graders have shaved their heads to support a friend who is battling leukemia. Doctors diagnosed 8-year-old Luca Bergio with the disease back in September. He told ABC he was worried about being bullied after starting chemotherapy treatments. Well, a group of his friends joined together to let him know there was nothing to worry about. At a party, 10 of Lucas's classmates volunteered to have their heads shaved as well. One classmate said she just wanted him to know she is there for him through thick and thin, hair or no hair. What a powerful story that is. Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. On this first day of the new year, I leave you with this thought. It is a new year, it is a new day, it is a new season. Grab hold of a word that you want to demonstrate in your life this year. Is it peace? Is it joy, freedom, increase? Whatever it is, guess what? There are scriptures to guide you, and that will be more powerful than any resolution. With that word, I encourage you to make this a terrific Tuesday, a wonderful rest of the week, and an unforgettable 2019. That is going to do it for this year's first edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember that you can always find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And we will always love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Once again, make it a terrific Tuesday and a wonderful year. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless.